Welcome back, guys, to the channel. So today we are going to end up putting wheel lights that go around the rotors. So that's our plan for today. I'm starting off first with this wheel in the back. I jacked it up. I put a jack also, well, a jack tower also along the side of it, just for support, and I left that right there just kind of like barely supporting it. So I went ahead and loosened these things up. One thing I've noticed, most of the guys, what they do, they take out the rotor, and so it's a bit more easier. I'm gonna try to do it without having to remove that. Let's see how that goes. If I can't do it, we'll see what we come up with next. So let's go ahead and take off our lug nuts and remove the wheel so we can have access to that. Now, the ones that I picked up from, I got it from eBay. Honestly, I don't care. These are not the double, like you see some of the guys rocking that have double LEDs here, and up here only has a double on top. And yeah, so it's plain and simple. I think you get these for like around 200 bucks. If you go with those other guys, you're gonna pay double or probably triple. So I mean, these are good enough for my application. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so there we have it. I want to mention one thing also for everyone that ends up buying these type of lug nuts. Guys, stop buying them from these Instagram pages. They're charging you overpriced. Get the same junk basically. I had these on the first gen, and I don't know how much they came out, but they're not costing you $300, $400. Like I said, a pair of these lug nuts is what's going to cost you to get those same LEDs if you buy them from them. They're way overpriced. Just get these. One thing I do recommend, and I didn't do these, I didn't do it with these right here, but I recommend spraying them with a clear coat, just because if you can see, it's kind of getting some oxidation right here. Next time when I get some wheel spacers, because I am getting some wheel spacers, the 2-inch wheel spacers, to stick it out just a bit more, just to give it that little stance. I'm gonna have these. I'm gonna clean them out and clear coat them, and you should be fine. So yeah, guys, that's another note. I will put a link to these things. These are on Amazon. They're 14 by 1.5. So yeah, guys, let's get back to it. All right, guys. So I went ahead and already kind of put this inside of the dust brake panel. And what I ended up doing, because usually you get some self-tapper screws with the kit. These aren't it. These are some that I have because I just find it easier me using this self-tapper. And then when I did, I used a 532 drill bit and went kind of over it just so I can use these. It comes with a lock nut that goes behind it, and I believe that's what I'm going to use for this application, just because it's a lot more easier, and I can just sneak in the nut from the back and it won't be touching anything else, and that way it's a bit more secure. And I'm going to use all 3 of these right here, and what I'm going to try to do is line this up with the brake line, so that way it looks like it's part of the truck and it looks a lot more cleaner. So I went ahead and drill these out first, and now I'm going to go ahead and mount this, and let's see how that goes, and I'll show you the rest of it of pre-drilling all of these. But I might do one more because I don't know how the front's going to turn out to be. So let's go ahead and mount these real quick. So we got the first one mounted. It kind of took me it took me a while. The reason why it's taking me a while is because I don't have the right tools with me, and have a needle nose, how you call it, pliers, because these right here, in some areas it works, and what you have to kind of do is put like a screwdriver right here and then kind of pry it a little bit, but you don't want to like damage your rotor. So what I would recommend is having those needle grips and it should help you out more so you can get that small nut. Or if you do have the if you do have the right tool, like I said, it shouldn't be a big deal. That was like the only problem. But if I were to have to give like to estimate how much time it should take you to install each one for a 5th gen Cummins, I'd say you would take about let's say 30 minutes. Let's say 30 minutes from pre-drilling these things, the brackets, and having them screwed in. Should take you about roughly 30 minutes overall to do. The way I did it is over here. Where is it? So these brackets, I measured about 3/4 of an inch towards the inside of it and made the screw right in the middle, and that should be fairly fine. You may have to well, you are going to have to fold these. I kind of bend them. They're easy to bend because it's aluminum, so that's the only thing I'm going to recommend you guys to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the next wheel over here and do this one, and then from there we'll jump over to the front, and then we will do the wiring. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how I did how I pre-drill those, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mount those, and then we'll jump back again to when we get to the front wheels. Alright guys, I didn't go all bonkers on this thing and get an ooga-dooga, but I kind of tightened up good enough. I'm still going to retorque these babies to the torque spec that they call for it. I do not remember what they are, but I will let you guys know whenever I get to that part. So we got the front, the two in the rear. Now we're going to go ahead and jump up to that one over there in the front. Most likely it'll be the same thing, so I'm going to be pre-drilling these things to what I got them. It's just gonna be the layout. So yeah guys, let's go ahead and jump over to that side. One thing I'm gonna do is that on some sections I'm gonna put some zip ties, because I don't really trust the adhesive as much, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So we're gonna get some white or some clear zip ties, and zip tie them after the fact, after I wash this baby. So let's move along. Okay, so we are in the back, well in the front, and this side is going to be the hardest. I don't know if you guys can see it from there. I pre-drilled it right in front of my fingernail right here. This one's harder because the gap in between the dust brake and the rotor is very tight. So I don't know how the hell I'm going to be able to get that self-tapping, well not self-tapping screw, but that nut to the back. And another thing, I had to do these, instead of doing 3/4 of an inch, I did a 1/2 inch, and then obviously I bend the brackets. You might end up having to remove this one. I'm not sure. But yeah, so it's either that or I might have to remove the rotor out. But I don't want to do that, so I'm gonna try. It's gonna probably take me a little bit more longer to do this one, and this shit is off. I'm oxidated. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that right now and see how it goes, and I'll let you know how long it takes me. All right, so we're back. All right, guys. So we had to remove the caliper and the rotor. Now the way to doing it, if you have a newer truck, this might be easier. And if you do have any kind of like DW40 or the penetrate that penetrates inside, I would say recommend putting some in here and here and all the lug nuts and around this area. And before that, you got to get a 15/16 to remove these bolts that go. There's two of them, one on top and one at the bottom. Remove them. It's a 15/16. Make sure you get one of these bad boys right here. You're able to extend it and put it back a bit more smaller to reduce the length of it as well. I found this one a lot more useful. My bad. Okay, so yeah, and then after that, get a hammer, lightly tapped it. I put like a cloth over it through the back and tapped it. It took me probably about a good minute of tapping it. That's what she said. And it's able to come off, as you guys can see. So we're gonna pull this off, and it'll make it a lot more easier. And I think I should have done it to the ones in the rear as well, but I didn't have much of a difficulty in the rear, and it's a lot more better than having to remove it, to be honest with you. So just make sure for the front ones, remove them out. Make sure you put something up here so that way it can sustain your brakes. And yeah, so let's proceed on with the video. All right, there you have it, guys. So the only thing I feel like I'm gonna run into a problem is having to putting that back on. So yeah, like in a way it's good, in a way it's bad. Like it's complicated. So one thing I'm thinking is either for the next one, having it like brought to this side and have it like sit somewhere around over here, so that way I can still put this back on easily, or I don't know. And then another thing I noticed is that they did not send me enough of those screws. They sent me enough of the nuts, the lock nut, but the screws itself, they did not send me enough. I'm missing like 3 of them, and I already checked the bag. So I think for the other side, I'm gonna end up using these self-tappers. So yeah, and we'll just have to check to make sure it doesn't hit the rotor in the back side. So let's go ahead and put this back on. All right, guys, we got the last one on there installed. Like I said, we're gonna have to, we use the self-tapper screws. I had to kind of bend this a little bit and pry on it just a little bit where it doesn't hurt this that much, so that way this is not on the edge. So yeah, this side came out pretty good. The other side didn't. I might have to readjust it because it is almost close touching this, but I don't know. I had it for today. So like I said, this started around, I'd say 11 o'clock. Probably so far it's taken me about 4 hours, I'd say 4 hours, and I still need to do the wiring. Like I said, make sure you leave these things close to your brake line, so that way you can zip tie them to there, make it look like if it was factory. And I'll show you that after this. We're gonna put the wheel back on there, and we will be changing these out soon, but this won't be on the video. So let's continue on. All right, guys, so there you have it. As you guys can see, we have these bad boys installed. Now I know I made a bit more research, and I know these aren't the quad, but that's okay. Like honestly, to me, that's just a little overkill, and I know overkill is a little bit more better. But for, I guess you can get these for like about 179, 200 bucks for these right here. It's better than paying 499, I believe that's what the quad ones are running for. Even if you were to get the Oracle ones, that you can get them, I guess, in quad, you pay, I think, like $300 instead of going with these other people on Instagram and paying like double the price or even more than that. But yeah, guys, there you have it. I mean, I have these up here. They're bright enough as well. These you can get them on Amazon. Like in my previous video, you can get them on Amazon or eBay for like a pack of 24 for like super cheap, instead of paying like freaking, I don't know, like almost the same thing, like $500, $600 for these. Come super bright, whatnot. I'm like, okay, it's whatever. But yeah, there you have it, guys. We zip tie these things along, as you guys can see. Goes with the brake line all the way up, and then the rest just runs along the frame of the truck. Actually runs in the middle. I work underneath, but there's some ants underneath there. But yeah, even here in the back, as you can see, it runs right there, and then it goes all the way up. So yeah, let's get we'll probably get this baby cleaned up and take a nice video of it, because it's really dirty. And when I mean really dirty, it's really dirty. So yeah. they're pretty bright to me. I mean, for my taste, it's good enough. So I will catch you guys later this night.